Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, a place to discuss pain, passion, and pursuits.
Let's get it. I want to feel alive.
Breathe.
Make some moves.
Protect the throne. This is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. It's your host, Helen Edwards, and
January Liddell. Aloha.
we have an awesome episode for you today. But first, before we get started, I just want to make sure that you have a big thank you from us for subscribing, sharing, and leaving reviews, 5-star reviews on Spotify or on iTunes. We appreciate you so much. And if you're not subscribed, do it now. Think. All right. So the topic of today is happiness. Specifically, we want to talk about what is happiness, why does happiness make us happy, and some tips on how to feel more happy. January, what are your thoughts?
So I love this topic because March 20th marks the International Day of Happiness. Didn't even know there was a thing. And so I thought, wow, it's a great topic to talk about because I feel that majority of us are in pursuit of happiness. It's kind of like a daily thing, right? We crave that happiness. And so I wanted to ask, and I wanted to actually do a shout out to some of my friends who responded, what is happiness to you? And Matt said, with every breath. And I said, oh my gosh, I felt that one because he's right. Happiness could be just the idea or the idea of living, just living, period, is happiness. So with every breath. So thank you, Matt. And then my friend Russell said, not having to follow society's norms. And I love that. That means he's out of the box. That means he wants to just be free. And I feel like sometimes in our society, it's hard to be quote unquote free because we're trying to kind of fit a mold and fit like a picture or an image that people have of us. So thank you, Russell. Thank you, Matt. Matt is actually a elementary school friend of mine. Russell, I actually worked at an elementary school with. That's funny. So yeah, thank you, Matt, for sharing. Thank you, Russell. I know you shared too, Helen. So what are our viewers saying about happiness? What does it mean to be happy for them?
Yes. So in our group, Sexy, Successful, and Soul Fed, we did have a comment. So shout out to Sophia Perez, who happens to be my cousin. We asked, what is happiness? How does it make you feel? What do you feel about happiness? She said the beach makes her happy. The water and soaking up the sun, that's her happy place. And often you hear the beach is people's happy place. In regards to that, I wanted to talk about a little bit more deeper about happiness to understand what makes us as humans happy on the biological part of it. So some chemicals that are scientifically backed, the feeling we call happiness comes from 4 special brain chemicals: dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, and serotonin. And if you don't know what any of those are, you can definitely go Google search it yourself and just learn more about these 4 chemicals that release these neurotransmitters in your brain, and then you start feeling happy. But obviously those 4 chemicals are always triggered by something in your environment. So which turns to like why, some tips that we can give on happiness. But I want to talk about those tips in just a second. On the whole subject of happy, just understanding, I mentioned those 4 chemicals because I think it's really important to have a self-awareness and to know what's going on within your body. So that way you can invite more of that into your body. Invite more of that into your life. Like endorphins. I can speak on endorphins because I work out. I work out almost every day. I would say 6 days a week. I've been working out since a kid. My mom used to make us come home and pack tires with sledgehammers after school in over 100 degree in the heat. It was hot, but that was you know, that was her dream, to have us build an earthship house. And at the time, you know, she didn't really think, okay, heat strokes. She didn't really know anything about that. She just thought, okay, my kids are tough. But that kind of went into my life, that releasing endorphins. And I always say exercising is my mental health. I have to work out, or I like to call it work in, because I have a home gym. So I like to work in. And anytime I'm stressed, anytime I'm frustrated, working out is my thizzle, you know? So it's releasing endorphins. And right now in my life, I want to say I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm getting married, I'm engaged, I'm with the person who makes me a better person. He's a really, really good human being. And in my past, when I was in really rocky, toxic relationships, I was very unhappy. I worked out still. I was releasing all the endorphins I could, but you know, those other chemicals were not coming in and creating this combination of happiness, because I was still allowing, you know, all of this toxic behavior, these negative emotions to happen. So if you are happy in your life, embrace the happiness, because seasons change, storms come. So people try to knock people down when they're happy. That's because there's this jealousy sensation in them. That's when you got to be like, bye, bye, bye. Protect your peace, protect your throne, your mind, body, spirit, and embrace the happy.
Yes, embrace the happy. That is actually where I'm at. I just talked to my therapist yesterday, actually, and we were talking about being happy. And when you're with or in a relationship where things are going well, then your performance is so much better. Everything is so much better when you are with a partner that is able to understand you and walk with you through life. And I will say this, you know, with my relationship, we've had like this roller coaster, complete roller coaster. So when you say embrace the happy, I am embracing it at this very moment. We are in a great space. So Sam and I are in a great space. We are working. When you say working in, when I thought of working in, it was more like we're working inside of ourselves. So when we work out, we're actually working inside too. So Sam and I were both working inside of ourselves, working on each other, you know, and working on ourselves through therapy, through self-care and all that. So yes, when you are in a relationship that is not toxic, that is just full of vibrance and positivity and wonder, and everything's like, for me, it's like we're almost in our 20 years of being together. And I feel like I'm just starting to learn more and more about him. And it's amazing, you know. So yes, so productivity is more, and I want to do more for him. And there's a saying, this is a whole new podcast, but the saying is be nice to the girl, right? Mark Gungor says, be nice to the girl. And that's it, you know, and things will just flourish when you're nice to the girl. So, but being happy to me means that I can breathe easily. It means that I am more calm and more stable in terms of how I react to things. And the state of happiness to me is just like what Helen says, is embracing just the moment, because there are seasons. And that means even in the midst of a storm and even in the midst of chaos, there's still happiness in there. And the idea is we have to find it. We have to search for it. We have to find it. What do you think about that, Helen?
You know, so one of the things I heard and I read that can be more true is this statement that said, everything you want is a relationship away. And that's so profound, because if you are somebody who doesn't understand this, you're going to immediately reject this idea. But if you do have a good and expandful mindset of this statement, you're going to be like, this makes sense. Because when you are at the beach and you're in your happy place and you're looking at the ocean, it feels so good. That moment, you are having a relationship with yourself, and you're having a relationship with Mama Earth. You're having a relationship with the sand. You're having a relationship with the air. You're having a relationship with the beach. You know, you're having a relationship with the peace and the calm that comes with that. And, you know, it's true that other people won't make you happy, but it's also true that relationships make you happy, you know, because everything in life is a social relationship, whether it's with yourself or with another person. And, you know, it's kind of like that ripple effect. You can have the greatest day, but if you come in contact with somebody who is just so awful and so negative, and or a really bad experience happens to you, it can switch. Your happiness can switch like that. It can immediately take you from, you know, happiness to hurt, suffering. So, and that happens because you come in contact, you come in relationship with something, someone, and that's why it's important to protect your peace, protect your happiness, protect your throne, protection of all that has led you to that point of happiness. Because happiness is the golden ticket. Happiness is that thing, like you said, everybody's in pursuit of happiness or pursuit of peace, you know, in which if you're peaceful, you're happy. Yeah, there's some kind of state of happiness there, right?
Yeah. And going back to what you were saying earlier about working out, because it does release the happy hormones, right? The endorphins. And I will attest to that. I have been doing yoga every day. Every day this week. I was intentional about it because I'm paying for this class, right? And I've missed like the first portion of March. I'm like, oh, I'm going to make up for it. I'm going to do it every day. And I actually love it. I love doing it every day. It does make me feel so good. But you're right. Happiness can be swiped really fast if something you feel or you perceive attacks you or attacks your belief system, or but it's really how you react to it, right? So yes, there are things, the people, places, things, circumstances that can disrupt that happiness. Trust me, it happened yesterday. I was happy, 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 happy. And then something happened with my daughter. She forgot to bring a notebook. And this notebook is for homework, but I've told her multiple times, bring your notebook, bring your notebook. And I was so upset. I didn't realize how upset I was getting. And I had to, like we were talking about being self-aware, I had to really dig deep down. Why am I upset? Why did I get that upset? And why did that disrupt my happiness? Because I was happy all the way through until that very moment. And I realized that it wasn't so much about the notebook, but it was more so that I didn't feel heard, which brought me back to how I was feeling in the past. So once I realized it had nothing to do with the notebook, it had nothing to do with, how that she didn't bring it, but it had everything to do with what happened in my past and how I felt not heard. And that took like really like self-awareness. That took a pause. I had to pause and really reflect. And I really suggest that when you are in the pursuit of happiness, really understand where all of those different feelings and emotions are coming from. Why do you want happiness? Why do you feel anger? Why do you feel joy? And what is it that brings it about? When I was aware that the reason I was upset was due to not feeling heard, then it made me realize like, oh, okay, that's why. And my anger and the feeling of like disappointment for her not bringing it subsided because it wasn't about her. And so I gave her hugs, I gave her kisses, and I switched. And you can do that. I know there are times that it's hard to like choose happiness, and we always see that choose happiness. And there may be some chemical imbalances with some people that it's really hard to choose happiness. That's true, it can be. But I feel like if we do little by little, right? So if we get our journal or something to write with, if you are, a visual person, then start writing down, what am I thankful for? Right. And you write down all these things. And you're like, oh, you can be upset, you can be sad, I'm thankful for. And you just write that one thing, and then you just keep writing. If you're a painter, draw things. If you like cut it, like art, cut things out of a magazine and put it on. Happiness is there, but we have to mentally choose to be happy, because we can be happy. We just have to choose it, and we have to go towards that direction. You may not feel it right away, but I feel like if you take those baby steps, that 1% change of going towards that happiness, then you'll feel that happiness.
Those are some great tips, January. I was thinking about my own happiness, and I remember when I first started on this train of happiness, and I thought, okay, it's gonna end soon, so I'm gonna enjoy it while it lasts. Well, it's lasted, and 3 years later, I'm still happy. And there was some emotions I felt during this whole 3 years. I felt guilty for being happy. I felt I was comparing myself to other people who I thought were comparing themselves to me, thinking that I had a friend who was really happy in their relationship same time as me. And then they ended up going through a really bad breakup, and they were no longer happy with me, but annoyed. And, I just thought, should I stop showing her my happiness, just so that way it doesn't hurt so much for her. And I thought, no, this is my time. This is my time for me. I'm happy. I have worked really hard to get to this point in life. I've made decisions and choices to get me to where I'm at. Why should I, be smaller, become smaller, dim my light for somebody else's who's dimmed theirs? And, I went through the loss of my mom last year. That was during this 3-year period of my happiness. And I'm not saying I was happy during that time, because who's happy when somebody dies that they love? When grief comes around, you're not happy. But I could say that happiness took a little sidestep and allowed me to go through grief. It's like it just stood there and just watched over me and waited for me. Happiness and love. I like to think of happiness, love, patience, kindness, peace as these entities. And I feel like they just step out of the way and allow grief to come in and do its work. And then as soon as grief is, kind of slowly getting away from me, they come in and just give me a big bear hug. And that's the way I've always kind of viewed it. I wrote about it in one of my chapters in Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. And that's how I've always kind of viewed these beautiful feelings in this world. And there is a thing where there's people really, really happy online, and people think, oh my God, yeah, right. There's no way they could be happy every day. You're right. There's no way they could be happy every day. Shit happens, and everybody has their shit. But why be unhappy for somebody who's happy? I'll tell you why. Because misery loves company. And when you're not happy, that's your chapter. That's your chapter to write. But the people that are happy, that's their chapter to write. And it's good that we learn to differentiate, but also accept and love somebody right where they're at, no matter where they're at. And that's one thing I had to learn, because I was that person who was really annoyed with happy people. I was really annoyed, when I was single, I was really annoyed with people who were happy in love. I was like, there's no way that their dude is completely a good dude. There's just no way. There's no way possible. And that's because I never had a good dude for this long, who was that partner that I dreamed of, that romantic partner. I just thought, no way, because I had failed relationship after failed relationship. When you don't have it and you're looking at somebody else who does, there is this lack of understanding, because you're going to judge them because you don't know what it's like, but you think you do, but you don't. So it's important to just love right where you're at, and your time is going to come. If you're in an unhappy place and you're on that pursuit of happiness, trust me, it's going to come. But you definitely have to grow. You've got to keep doors open. A lot of people, they get angry through their suffering, and so they shut doors. No, because they're scared. You're in fear. You're in fear of having something good in your life be taken away again. And it's important to acknowledge that. And once you acknowledge that, you can work on it. You can go and nurture it, that part of suffering, that part of trauma within yourself, and learn to open that darkness up again. So let the light come in, so that way that seed can grow and sprout and reach out to the sun. So that way more light comes in your life, more happiness comes in your life. What do you think about that?
Yes, I like that you said to grow. And I think the growth part is vital, because the happiness for me isn't about, well, you said it earlier, it's about relationships. And the one relationship that's really vital is the relationship with ourselves. And so I feel like the happiness can stem from the growth of ourselves. So when we personally develop, and we personally, and Helen and I are big believers on working on ourselves, and we are very self-aware, and that is the one thing that I do want to encourage everyone to do, is really dig deep, and find out in your core, what is it that motivates you? What is it that makes you happy? Because we cannot rely on anybody, right? So we cannot rely on anybody for happiness. When I relied on Sam, okay, so this is like the journey of Sam and Jan. When I relied on Sam for my happiness, I was always disappointed, because there were expectations that I had over him, and he had expectations over me of how I should be, how he should be. And we were in this like tug of war type of scenario where we just, we're not happy. We were not happy with each other because we had all these expectations. And then somewhere down our journey, I realized I need to personally grow. I need to grow inside. I need to know who I am. Who is Jan? And what do I give to this world? What is my value? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to die. I am going to die. So from now until the time of death, what will I do for myself? And what can I bring to the world? And that to me is my happiness, because I'm, and I believe in God. So whatever God gives me, the gifts that he's blessed me with, how can I share my light? How can I share that with others? And when I'm coming from a place where I've really put in a lot of work on myself. I've read books, I've listened to podcasts, I meditate daily, I pray almost every moment. So I'm putting all this work. So it's going to take some time. But the whole idea of happiness is really find it first within yourself, right? So really dig deep. Once you find that happiness, you're grounded with, you're like happy to be you, right? You're happy to be in the skin that you're in. I'm going to tell you, this old lady, okay, I am like sagging. I'm like wrinkles. I know you can't see it. Hello, thank you, filter. But there's all these like things that are like coming out, right? I'm like, I'm not my 20-year-old self like I was, and I'm embracing it. I'm embracing all my love handles and like all the changes that are going on to my body, because that is called growth. That is called growth. So when I am growing into me, right, and each phase of my life, I'm growing. And I guess that's what I'd like to share with you all, is that embrace it. Embrace the skin you're in, because this is what God has blessed you with. This is it, and so we make do with what we have. And so growth for me is vital.
Okay, so I'm going to name, I thought this was really cool. So Aristotle distinguished between 4 different levels of happiness. Happiness level 1 is latus, which is happiness from material objects. Happiness level 2 is felix, which is ego gratification. Happiness level 3 is butito, which is the happiness from doing good for others and making the world a better place. And then happiness 4, which is sublime butito, which is having like a connection to a bigger calling, like the universe or God, so I love the 4 of those, because in other words, there's relationships, right? Again, these could be looked at as relationships to material objects, to your ego, which is the self, to the happiness for doing good for others, relationship with others, or a relationship with God or a higher universe or, expansion of things. So I do want to talk about one specifically with this, which is the material things, because I'm not gonna lie, okay? And it's okay, because I don't think a lot of people admit this, but material shit makes me happy sometimes. I just got my engagement ring in. I just want to just flaunt that for a second. And I was so happy when it got here. I was so happy because we had it a custom made. And when I first saw the design, I was like, that's it. It gave me Wonder Woman vibes. And we had to wait, 8 to 10 weeks to get it in. And I literally cried when I saw it, because I got engaged last September, but when I got it, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a married woman like a year from now. This is crazy. And I'm going to be married to a wonderful man, and I'm happy. And it represents so much to me. This new chapter in my life I'm going to be going into, that I'm already in, but that I'm getting started. So this ring brought a lot of happiness to me. And new cars. If you're somebody who has a broke down car or no car at all, and you're saving up, you're riding the bus, and you get that vehicle after working so hard towards it, happy, happy, kind of like, you're like, yes, and that, yes, material things can make you happy.
Girl, when I got my ice cream cone, I was happy. I'm like, ice cream, yeah. What? Twice? I'm like,
yeah, I can see that.
I was like, yes, happiness is all around us. It's found in material things. So I have this Helen, I did a Helen. I pulled a Helen, okay. So you got your jacket and I got my purse, and I said, look, I got it, but I'm not going to use it until I get another client. So I'm not even using it yet. I'm like, I'm going to wait until I make that paycheck. And so
I love that.
It's sitting there waiting for me.
I want to see it. You have to show me.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you. But it's Kate Spade. It's not even like a fancy schmancy, whatever, but it's what I like. So I'm like, yeah. So yeah, definitely material. What was the other one?
So the other one was ego gratification, things you do for yourself that make you happy.
Oh, yoga makes me happy.
Or, and there was something, I talked about comparison in a negative way, but it did mention, comparing in a good way, because then like how you become better in comparison to somebody else who maybe had the same chips lying in front of them and they didn't use them, but you did. So you're winning, you're winning.
Yeah.
So winning makes me happy. When I'm winning, I'm a high achiever. Some people know that. But when I don't win at something, that's when I'm like, ooh, I don't feel very happy right now with myself. And I got to be like, hey girl, this is a good decision. Don't worry about it. I do want to mention something though, recent. So I've been wanting to wear heels, get back to heels. I used to wear heels a lot in the city. And when I got out here to Wyoming, up here in the snow, dirt roads, I kind of gave all my heels away. But heels make me feel powerful. They make me feel strong. They make me feel sexy. I love heels. And I forgot how much I love them after being here for almost a few years, And I was like, ooh, I need to start wearing heels again. How should I do this? Where should I go? And I was like, why think like that? Wear them in your kitchen, girl. Dance in your kitchen. Wear them outside on your morning, meditations, and go out there and dance for a little bit. So yesterday I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. So I go in my closet and I'm like, ooh, what heels should I wear? And that's when I realized I gave them all away. I only have one pair in my closet. I was like, oh no. So they were like lighting up in gold. I was like, oh, there's I even was like, I hope they still fit. My foot grew like something over a year. Yeah. So I put them on. I was like, okay, ooh, these are comfy. I get to dance in, making videos, I'm having a freaking blast. I forgot how lovely heels make me feel as a woman, or as a human being, period. They accentuate the legs, my butt looked better. I was like, dang, everything looks better for some reason. But then after an hour, I was like, I gotta get these off. So I told myself, okay, that's heels day one. I'm going to wear heels every day, whether it's 10 minutes to an hour, and just try to get used to heels again. In fact, today I'm going to go buy a second pair of heels just so I got options. I need options.
No, I saw you in your heels in the snow.
Yeah, I was outside.
This lady out, she's out in heels in the snow dancing. Okay. High five, high five, high five.
Yeah, it made me happy. That little activity. So simple. Maybe not simple for others who don't like heels and think like, no way, they hurt my feet, whatever. For me, and everybody's got their thing, but this was for me. I felt so happy and I had fun. Yes, I was scared I was going to break my foot or sprain my ankle, but I felt the fear and I did it anyways.
Woo! Yes. And I love heels. I didn't realize you love heels too. So I'm like, "Ah." But look, I love heels because I'm short. But so when I wear them, I'm like, I feel extra taller and I just feel the butt goes like up like this. The booties around like okay.
Instant booty booster.
Booty booster. But yes, I mean, even like earrings, I told you about earrings. Like I love wearing earrings. I love accessorizing. I love when my whole outfit is like, okay, outfit of the day, that gives me happiness. Yeah. So there's all these little things that we can do. It doesn't have to be big and crazy or like even outdoors, because I love the outdoors. The outdoors makes me happy.
Mhm.
We love camping, so I'm going tent camping, not glam camping or glamping, but I meant tent camping. No snakes, no bears. What is the other one? And no lions, no tigers.
And you're gonna be by a beach.
And we're by a beach. So I have the best of both worlds. So that makes me happy. I think being grounded on the earth just makes me happy, So yes, everything about the heels, the clothes, there's all sorts of things that'll make us happy, and being with our girlfriends. I'm going to tell you, shout out to my girls, Tammy and Stacy. I love hanging out with them. They're great, great women to hang out with. When you hang out with your tribe, and especially with women, there's something about being with women. It just like draws like your carefreeness out and you're like, yes, it's me,
Yes.
You know what I
That
mean? It's like,
that wild spirit is like in
yes.
every woman. And once she comes out, oh my God, it's a blast. It's a blast. Yes.
Girl,
And you
I
know what?
cannot.
I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon because I think you're about to mention it just now. I feel like it. my intuitive I'm psychic feelings right now that you're gonna mention this, but when you're planning something, are you gonna mention it? Okay.
Go on.
When you plan something, so this is actually a great tip besides heels and accessorizing and all the other things we mentioned. But when you plan something, when you have something to look forward to, whether it's a goal, which we all like goals, or whether it's a trip, planning a trip, or even like a happy hour with your friends, just we're January's excited because we have a cruise. I'm getting married on a cruise next year in 2024. And my wedding party's all coming on the cruise with us. And it's 8 days. So it's gonna be 8 days of a blast, so we're looking
Girl,
forward
let
to
me tell you, because Nina, so even Nina, I swear I talk about her all the time, but she's my girl, okay? She's my little bestie. So anyway, I played some music in the morning because I like to play music. And anyway, I was playing music and I was telling her I need to play music more often. And she's like, just like the cruise, they play music all the time. And I'm like, yes. So even she is happy about the cruise. She is like, that's her life. She is all about cruise life and she's 7. And I'm like, damn, I wish I was like that when I was 7. So I've set a standard for her. And the cruise life, oh my gosh, that's like party every single day with your friends, with your loved ones, and just dancing and enjoying. And I think that's the thing, right? About being happy is that all these emotions, I don't know what it is. It's like this joyfulness, this light. It just reflects everywhere. It's just bouncing all over the place. And I feel that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be in joy.
Girl, yes. And say yes. There was a part of my life, big part of my life, where I'd say no. No, I don't have. No, I don't have the money. No, I can't. No, no. I'm scared. There was just no's. And I don't know what happened. Something happened during my journey. About 17 years ago, I must have read a book or I saw a quote or something, but it said, say yes more. See how your life changes once you say yes more. So I decided to say yes more, and exhibit A. I'm telling you, my life changed. Doors were opening, options, planning, new friends. Everything it was scary at first. But now it's like, I got to start saying no sometimes because I say yes way too much now. I got to be like, ooh, no, because now, I got priorities with my fiance, but before I was like a yes, yes, yes. I mean, shoot, yeses were flying out like crazy. But it really is a game changer when you open up and you say yes more and you have more fun. You can YOLO all you want, but if you're somebody with boundaries and somebody who is very balanced in your life, you don't have to YOLO, you can YOLO and just go have fun, but also draw back when you need to.
Yes. You see? Yes. Something about saying yes just makes you feel so good. I
All you
can't-
gotta do is say yes. Hey, you know that song?
No, but I'm gonna
I don't
snap
either,
it.
but there's a song that says that. I can't remember who it is, but the singer says, all you gotta do is say yes. I feel like I should know more about this song and be a better singer for. All right, audience is like, okay.
What? Oh, it's a concert. Oh my gosh, I love this topic, Helen. I love this topic. It makes me feel happy. What?
I gotta say, just the topic itself is like putting happiness in us.
So I got my cake. I got my sister this cake, Chantilly. Okay, so if anybody wants to buy me a cake, please buy me a Chantilly cake because that's my favorite, but from Zippy's. Okay, Zippy's Chantilly cake. Anyway, so I know that's my sister's favorite too. So I got her this cake that says happy. I just put happy on it. Happy, because who doesn't need happy in their life, right? You need to be happy. And I'm in such a great place in my life right now that I'm like, oh, I just want to like spread happiness, and joy and all that. And I just love where I'm at. I love where I'm at. I'm embracing this moment, Helen.
I watched this documentary called Happiness, and it talks about people all over the world who are happy just in, what we consider poverty, but they're happy because they're not seeing their lives as poverty. They're seeing their lives as, I have enough, I've got enough. But, in America, I got to say money is a big deal, and that's okay. We don't have to necessarily compare our lives to third world countries who are happy right where they're at. There's some that are not, there's some that are, but where you are, where we're at right now, we're in the Americas. And I got to mention this, but money brings me happiness because when I'm good financially, everything's taken care of. There's no worries. There's no stress. Bill isn't coming around to collect the bills. There is a weight off your shoulders where happiness gets to come in and drop in and see you anytime it wants, because there's not this block that's resisting it, and again, if you're somebody out there who doesn't have money, make a statement now today that you will become a millionaire. You will become a thousandaire. You will become a hundredaire. Wherever you're at in your life, money will flow to you easily, effortlessly on its own. However, you will do the work it takes to make that money come in your life, and make that stance with yourself today, because both January and I are proof that money can come in your life. It can make a huge change in your life. And it can just release that tension that you kind of off-put happiness to come into your life. It's a growing experience for everybody. It's a growing experience, and it's important. If you're going to compare yourself to, what is that saying? Compare yourself to yesterday, that you're better today.
Yeah, be a better version of yourself, right? So be better than you were yesterday. Totally. Money gives us freedom. Okay, so that's the whole thing about money, is that it gives us freedom, and it's a mindset change. So that's definitely something that if you're listening out there, It's something that you have to think about in your mind. So you got to put it in your mind, positive words of affirmation about money. If you do that, then things will start flowing. But that's a whole nother podcast. So today we're talking about
but it does make me happy. I'm going to just say that's one of the
no,
things.
for real. I agree. It does make me happy too. It brings us experiences like the cruise, like
Yes.
Disney World, like the
Yes.
ring, you know, like it
Yes.
gives us all these things that do provide massages. I love massages. That gives me happiness, you know? So yes, so that's why we need the money. But
It's a work in process. It's a work in process. Yeah.
really, but I lived in the Philippines for 3 months. Okay. 3 months straight. This was 2017 when Sam was deployed to Korea. And then we had just like gotten word that we need to leave for Texas. I'm like, I don't know anybody in Texas. So I'm like, well, let's see if Junior can study abroad. And so
Yeah.
there we go. So Junior was studying in the Philippines. So we're living there for 3 months. And I'm going to tell you, they were the most happiest people that I've ever seen. They could be out on the street, have no water. They have this like this well thing, you know, they have to like pump out water. People are taking showers out in the open street. Okay. So, but all you see is happiness. I hear happiness. They're all singing over there. Okay. So if you're Filipino, you know what I mean. Everybody in the Philippines, even if you're poor, you've got a karaoke machine. Okay. You got a karaoke machine and you are singing your hearts out and like 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. So that is what they do in the Philippines, is sing and be happy. And that's great. That's the beauty of life, right?
It's, you know, it kind of reminds me of gratitude. And we've talked about gratitude plenty of times, but gratitude is, you know, state of mind. Well, it starts off as a state of mind, and gratitude definitely is an inviter of happiness in your life. Like they say, you know, if you want more in life, be happy for what you already have. And when you do that, you attract more of what you want. And I really believe that's true, because I'm a testament to that. And I know there's a lot of people out there, and I'm going to mention this because there's people out there who think of it as woo woo and talk bad about it, and, you know, say there's no science to back it up. There's a lot of science that don't back up a lot of stuff, and that's where faith comes in. Faith is so powerful, and faith, gratitude, you know, kindness, being cool, chillaxing, you know, these are things that are inviters, they're receptors, they're attractors to happiness. So
It's an energy, right? So what you put out, you get back in. And it's the craziest thing, because just like Helen, I'm a testament of it too. I just feel like so many blessings. Like yesterday. Okay, so yesterday, my sister and I and the kids, we went to Menchie's. Menchie's is a froyo. It's a frozen yogurt place. And I let her use my my rewards card or whatever. And she's like, $5, you know, you get $5 off. I'm like, what? $5? I'm like, okay, cool. So then my sister pays her things, and I was gonna get something for a coach, a jujitsu coach. So I paid mine and the coaches, and she's like, you go $5. I'm like, wait, you just gave her $5 off. That's my code. How are you giving? So I don't know how it worked. I have no idea how it worked. But girl, I got $10 off yesterday, and I'm like, thank you, Lord, because anything helps. Even when I see a penny, I'm like, what? I get like really excited when I see a penny, because I'm like, yeah, I'm $1 million rich, because I get that penny, right? So each penny I get is like $1 million to me. So anyway, where was I getting on with that?
Gratitude.
Oh, the energy.
Energy.
Yes. The energy that you put out, and you don't have, when you put it out, it's got to be authentic, right? It's not like oh, I'm gonna do this because I want something back in return. It's not that, but it's really giving from the heart, right? And giving from like your opu. It's like it's like your pico. It's like right here in the hole, like your belly button, your pico. You just want to give it.
That sounds really dirty, but go ahead.
That does sound dirty. Pico is your belly button in Hawaiian. So anyway, just want to give it. And so once you get it, it just, I don't know what it's so magical. It really does come back. I promise. But you just got to do it. Ain't nothing to it, but do it.
Ain't nothing to it, but to do it. Yes. You know, okay. so right now in our group, Sexy, Successful, and Soul Fed, we're doing our March Big Queen gift energy, Big Queen energy gift exchange. And I'm already starting to see, gifts come in, because the idea was for these women to sign up, and 18 participants signed up this month, and you signed up, they all get somebody that they're assigned to, and then they send them something through the mail, because it feels so good to get something through the mail and open it up and unbox it and be like, oh my God, what did I get? What kind of gift did I get? And then they, post a picture of it in the group and give gratitude. And I wanted it like that for a few reasons. So people can become friends, connections, relationships are formed, and trust. You're sending somebody something to their address. So there's a form of trust right there. And third, it gives gratitude. So you're putting that energy out there, like the more I want the group to be filled with gratitude and action takers, women who make moves, because that's big queen energy right there, So yeah, thank you, Jenny, for participating, but I'm already starting to see those pictures come in, and I'm just like, it gets me so excited.
Yeah, I remember when I got mine, and when I got mine, it was from Mitzi. And I was like,
was it the first one? Because this is our third one.
yes, that was the first one. I missed
Okay.
the second one. So this is the third one. But the first one that I got, it was out of the blue. She didn't tell me it was coming. It just came. And I'm like, what's this? I'm like, I think this is it. And then I videotaped myself and I sent it over to her. And it was just it was a beautiful exchange of gratitude, and she just giving gratitude and giving. There's something amazing about that. And I love that we're talking about that now and not just in November, when it's Thanksgiving, because gratitude does wonders. It does wonders to our psyche, to our soul, and just the energy all around us. One of the things that when I take my kids to school, I always ask them, there's 3 questions I ask them. What are you thankful for? What would make today great? And then affirmations, I am. Then I have them do their I am. And that's what we do. And that makes me feel good. So I'm kind of selfish about it, because I'm like, I want to know what you're thankful for, because I want to hear, and so I just want to, yeah. So I guess I feel a little bit selfish, but I'm like, no, but it's good for you too.
Oh my God, I love it. I love this topic, but we're going to wrap it up. And I just want to say thank you again to all of our listeners. And I'm going to just let you know who I am real quick. Before we end this, my name again is Helen Edwards. I'm the author of Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. Go get my book on Amazon and Audible. If you're in the Wyoming area, we have a non-overnight weekend retreat for women called Women's Sexy, Wild, and Freedom Retreat in April next month. So you can find our link, find more about that in the link below. January, where can they find you?
So I'm January Liddell. Aloha again. You can find me on LinkedIn, January Liddell. You can find me on Facebook, VIP Finance Builders. I'm sorry, I should have renamed it, but VIP Finance Builders. Or you can go to my website, januaryliddell.com, and you'll find what I do. So thank you for listening. Aloha, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Want to hear more?
Visit us at SexyFreedomMedia.com.